What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining us. Happy Friday. Joining me today. Eventually, there will be an us. Let me know if you can hear me. Comment down below. That's what my son likes to say for his YouTube channel. Comment down below to subscribe. But let me know if you guys can hear me if I'm live right now. So, somebody, I'll wait for you. I think we're good. Anyway, all right. So let's talk about all of the things today. I want to know your wins. Big shout out to Jesse. Jesse got me all set up with StreamYard today so that I could stream live for you guys. So thank you. Thank you. Big shout out, Jesse. All of this stuff that you see on the screen, that was Jesse who taught me. She literally filmed me a personalized video. Y'all know I love a personalized video. So huge shout out to Jesse. Hey, Steven. Hey, Forrest. Hey, Richie. Good to see you guys. Hey, David. There's so many I can't even say hi, but I want to talk about so many things. I have so many unread DMs. I'm sure there's some of you on here who are waiting for me to get back to you, who have a question. I want to answer those. Please, if you have questions, ask them in the chat below. Look, Jesse, I learned how to make a banner. But ask them in the chat below if you know or if you have any questions. I will try to answer them during this live. If I can't do it this live, we'll do it next Friday because I'm alone and I'm going to go back and forth to the comments, but I'm going to do the best I can. So ask your questions in the comments below. William, you did not miss anything. We're just getting started. But happy Friday. So good to see you guys. I hope you all finished your week strong. I know that we're getting into holiday season. It's literally crunch time. It's almost like you take a week out of November, you take 2 weeks out of December. And if you are in sales, you know that this is the time of the year where we are pushing as hard as we can. So please take care of yourself this weekend. Make sure that you are not just going a million miles an hour. Don't burn out before the holidays, before you get to see your family and all of those kinds of things. All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about agency versus internal recruiters and the difference. I have a number of people who reach out to me in my DMs that I cannot help, and I want to provide some guidance for you. So, if you are in the middle of a job search, listen up. If you are thinking about potentially moving companies, listen up. There is a big difference between what an internal recruiter does and what an agency recruiter does. And for the most part, I want you to not waste your time. Reaching out to me, if that's a waste of your time, I don't want you to reach out to me. I want to tell you who to reach out to so that you get results. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to get hired. We're trying to make money, right? So if you are in a job search, if you are actively looking, one first thing I will say is if you are transitioning, if you are trying to get into a new industry, you probably are not going to work with an agency recruiter. Agency recruiters we really are headhunters. We work with companies who have very specific needs and very specific things they're looking to fill. We're going to talk about a recruiter pay next, but you will learn that agency recruiters are paid because we go find specific things. So if you are someone who's like, hey, Lauren, I don't really know what I want to do, I'm probably going to tell you you need a career coach or you need to go find direction so that you can understand what it is you want and then come back to me. Or then I can point you to an internal recruiter or I can give you some direction after that point. But going to an agency recruiter really won't do you much good. And I don't want to say it will waste your time because networking is important and building relationships is important. But an agency recruiter won't be able to place you as quickly. They have roles that they have to fill, and they're very keen on filling those roles because that is how they get paid. So please be mindful of, are you reaching out to an agency? Are you reaching out to an internal recruiter? And I'll be honest with you, it's not a stupid question. So if you don't know, just ask. That's one of the easiest things. If you reach out to me and say, hey, like, are you hiring for this directly? Are you an agency recruiter? I'm an agency. I partner with them. I joke with some people in the interview process. I am not HR. Hey, Anthony, thank you for joining. Hey, Sarah and Melissa. Hi, guys. But yes, so agency recruiters, like Melissa said, specific list of requirements provided by the client. This is something that the client is looking for that they have not been able to find. That's why they're reaching out to an agency. So that's very, very important. If you are transitioning, there's hope. You can get in front of an internal recruiter. You can get in front of a hiring manager. You can network in. I'm not saying that, oh my gosh, if I'm transitioning, no, there's so many opportunities. There's so many people. You just need to put your eggs in the right basket, focus your direction on the right thing. So if you are transitioning, and you know you want to work for, I'm just going to throw out a random company. Congratulations for the advertising. We'll go with Lavender because I just saw Lavender is hiring. Will at Lavender is hiring. There you go, guys, if somebody's looking. But say you're Lavender, right? And you're hiring, they are looking for something. But if you don't quite fit the bill, you can get in front of them and you can say, listen, that wasn't my story, but this is why I'm the fit. And if you can network in and if you can build those relationships, you have a much better chance of getting in front of that hiring manager than going to, say, an agency recruiter and saying, hey, I know Will at Lavender is hiring. Can you help me get in the door? One, Will at Lavender is not using an agency. He doesn't need to. And two, yes, Melissa, thank you, more flexibility for job seekers. So if you're in front of somebody who is internal, they have a little more pull inside the company. So definitely transitioning teachers, anybody transitioning industries. I know I talked to a lot of people who are wanting to, even some people get out of sales and go to like customer success or something like that. Please make sure you're focusing your efforts towards the right people, just so that you're not wasting your time. Um, the job search is exhausting. I know that I talk a lot about applying with intention and making sure, shout out to Will, applying with intention and making sure that you are really focused on who you're applying to and with and networking in. I do not believe in spraying and praying your resume to 2,000 people. I literally had somebody comment that on my post that you should apply to 2,000 jobs. Could you imagine getting 2,000 rejection letters? I mean, we know that a lot of people don't give rejection letters, but could you imagine? I think that you should be more intentional with your approach and you should really reach out to people who can help you network, offer to help other people. Most of the best opportunities and the best things that have come to me have come because I was helping someone else. And when I was helping someone else, that person said, hey, you know what? I actually, and then the whole conversation turned. So give a little bit more. Think about who you're reaching out to in terms of, yes, my heart breaks for those people. Think about, yes, Gretchen. Oh goodness. But think about that when you're reaching out and make sure you're reaching out to the right person. Be polite in your outbound messages, right? If somebody doesn't get back to you, I know I talk about this a lot as well, but if somebody doesn't get back to you right away, there's probably a reason for it. Try again. Please try again. I know I tell my candidates, even my candidates that I actively work with who are in an interview process, if I'm not responding to you, I'm not ignoring you. I literally just can't keep up. So if I'm not in an active interview process with you, and that is how I feel with my people who are in active interview processes, imagine how it is when I'm trying to get to your message. So please don't shame people. We've talked about that lately. Yes, Gretchen, spray and pray is a waste of time. And time, as Gretchen points out, is the one thing you will never, ever get back. So much better to network and apply with referrals instead of applying through an ATS. I 100% agree with that all day long. Hillary says it's because it's hard to even get recognized no matter what qualifications you have. It is exhausting and mentally draining. Hillary, I told someone today, I said, not only do I think job seekers feel exhausted, I feel like they are exhausting because they're reaching out and they're following up. And you don't want to be a pest. You don't want to annoy people in your outreach, but you need an answer. I get that. So please follow up tastefully. Tastefully is the key word there. I saw that in a comment earlier. Follow up tastefully. Make sure that you are actually showing these people that you are interested and that you want it. Melissa, gosh, could you imagine the wasted time you'd use 2,000 random applications? I know. Oh my goodness. I didn't even respond to that comment. But yes, so agency versus internal. We're going to move on to recruiter pay. So let's talk about recruiter pay. This is going to be specific for agency recruiters. We're not talking about internal recruiters. Hey, Topher. Topher made it. What's up, Topher? Hey, Max. So I want to talk specifically about how recruiters get paid. I had no idea. The first time I worked with a recruiter, no one explained it to me. I really didn't know. So let's talk about internal recruiters. Internal recruiters typically, if they don't have a salary, they work on a draw. So on a draw, what that means is their company pays them to work, but when they get paid their commission, they have to pay that money back to the company. So that's what being on a draw means, right? You're paying back that advance, essentially, that the company is paying you. So if you ever hear the word I'm on a draw, that's what that means, is that I'm paying back essentially the advance that I was given. Recruiters also, agency recruiters, let me be very specific if anybody tunes in late. Agency recruiters are paid on your base salary. So there is a common myth that a recruiter will lowball you. There is a common myth that a recruiter will lowball you so that they make more money. That is just simply not true. We are paid based on your base salary. It is in my best interest to get you as much money as possible. Now, that being said, I want to talk about when a recruiter comes to you and says, listen, there's a range of 125,000 to 150,000 for this role. I know as a candidate, you want to say 150K all day, 150K all day. I get it. I want to say 150K all day. But ask your recruiter and be realistic in not just what you need. If 150 is your number and you match every job detail that they need, great, 150. But if you don't tick every single box, and if there are other candidates going in who have more experience than you, who are asking for 140 out of the 125 to 150 range, you could not get the interview simply because you only said, I'm only willing to accept the top end of the range. Gretchen, oh, I don't know. I hope that doesn't happen to everybody. Turn off the captions, totally reset. Don't turn off the captions if you're there. You might be like Gretchen, it might reset. But yes, so agency recruiters, we are paid on the base. We will not lowball you on purpose, but we want you to get the interview. We want you to get into the process. And if you don't get the interview because you asked for too much, everything that we did was moot. And remember, an agency recruiter doesn't get paid right away. Melissa says, Gretchen did it to me without a change. It was LinkedIn. Okay. Stopping by. Hey, Mark. Good to see you. Thanks, Jesse. But yes, so recruiters get paid based on your base pay. So let's talk about that. What a recruiter has is that as a percentage of your base that they'll get paid. Then they have a terms like the number of days it takes to get paid. So if you are my candidate and you start today, some agencies have a pay in 30, some have a pay in 45, some have a pay in 10. Agencies have different time frames. So once you start and you are successfully onboarded and in the position, that date range is when the bill goes out to your company. Now, then your company has to pay that bill. Some are checks, some are wires. It all depends. Eventually, that gets around to go back to the agency. Once the agency gets their money, then they split it with you and your commission, and then you get your percentage later on. So it is quite a process. If I'm working with you now, I probably won't see any type of money if you get a role for a few months, realistically. So when we're talking about agency recruiters and it's a long game, it really is a long game. What I'm doing now is setting up my success for January. What I'm doing next month is setting up my success for February. It really is a sales game in those terms, and you have to keep that snowball rolling, so to say. You needed to get bigger through the year because at certain times hiring slows down. Just like Christmas, a lot of companies shut down for a week at a time. It's harder to get in touch with candidates, and it's harder to, in my opinion, some recruiters will disagree, but in my opinion, it is harder to get someone to leave their job right around the holidays to consider a new opportunity. And as an agency recruiter, being a headhunter, we are going after very specific people. So those people are harder to get on the phone and get to consider changing roles, quite frankly, during the holidays. So think about those things. Think about that the next time you're working with a recruiter. And also know that a recruiter has a guarantee of how long you will work for that company. So most agencies have a guarantee that you will work and you will perform and you will do well for a minimum of 90 days. And if at any point in that first 90 days or whatever that amount may be, if at any point in that time frame you decide to leave, that agency either has to pay the money back or they have to refill your position and we have to go find a new candidate. So when a recruiter says, "Hey, I just placed you in this role, I'd like to have a weekly check in with you to make sure you're okay," please have those conversations. Check in with your recruiters. Don't ghost them as soon as you get the role. Some recruiters might ghost you once you get the role. I don't recommend them. It needs to be a lifelong partnership. I joke with the people I place. If I place you, you're never getting rid of me. Shout out Mike Little. You will never get rid of me. But these are your people for life. And in 10 years, when these people are ready for their next role and their next step, or however long that time frame is, I'm the person they'll reach out to because we had such a good experience that first time. Also, if you are a passive candidate, if you are a top performer on your sales team or whatever in your department, whatever you do, if you are a top performer, you probably can go find an agency recruiter who recruits in your space. So if you're in fintech or whatever, if you're in the financial industry, go find a recruiter who specializes in what you want to do, okay? And quietly give them your resume. Tell them what you need to be successful. Start building relationships, and then you'll have recruiters who are quietly, literally coming to you with job offers. Could you imagine not having to ever apply for a role again? You can be a top performer and find recruiters who will work with you if you build those relationships. So please, please, please make sure you are working hard, even if you're happy in your role. Even if your boss is the best person ever, your boss might be talking to me in the DMs and you don't know it. I might be convincing your boss to leave. And that 2 weeks is coming before you even realized it. And then you're going to wish that you had these relationships built as well. So, those are some things about agency pay that need to be out there just so people are more comfortable reaching out to an agency recruiter. You do not have to pay an agency recruiter a dime to represent you. There are some recruiters out there who do not work for agencies, they do not work internally. They literally just get candidates to pay them to represent them until they find jobs. There's nothing wrong with that, but that is not an internal recruiter who works for, say, a company directly, and that is not an agency who is represented by that company. So understand who you're working with, understand if they can actually successfully help you. Be polite, even if that recruiter can't help you, find a way to help them, and they will probably network you to a recruiter who can help you. At the end of the day, we want to work with people we like. If you are super nice to me, I will be super nice to you. It's pretty simple. And just remember, like we've all been taught, what goes around comes around. So remember that what you're putting out into the universe is probably what you're getting back. I am a very big fan of telling people, have the day you deserve. And if you are a phenomenal person, you will have a phenomenal day. So, all right. Next thing and the last thing, we will end early today because I am alone. I don't have a guest. But last thing I want to really discuss with everyone is this is more for hiring managers and internal HR teams. So if there's any hiring managers or internal HR teams hanging with us, this one's for you. I know that there are many, many, many people who need work, are looking for work, can't find work. Internal teams are stressed. There's not enough internal recruiters to go around typically. Typically, a company has so many open roles that an internal recruiter cannot keep up with all of it. So, if you are an internal HR assistant, whatever, if you work internally and an agency recruiter is reaching out to you, we are not trying to compete with you. I know some recruiters know this, but it became apparent to me in the past week that some do not. So we're going to talk about it. An agency recruiter, and this is the best analogy I have. An agency recruiter is like a pop up kitchen who comes in to help you with an event when you don't have enough staff to take on that level, right? If you need extra help, we bring in the A team, we bring in our own equipment, we do the work, we clean up on our own, and we get out of there. And nobody even knew we were there. We want you to be successful on your own, and we want to support. So please remember, if you are an internal person at a company and we are reaching out to help you, please remember we want to help. Like, we want to support you, we want to elevate you, we want to make you look better. All right. Melissa says word of mouth still reigns supreme. Yes, it does. Hey, Samuel, thank you for coming. All right, Dustin, I work in tech. How would you recommend building your LinkedIn network with recruiters in your field? Is there a good way to build relationships? All right, Dustin. So, yes, there are great ways to build relationships with recruiters. Obviously, I always tell people don't ask for anything right away. Please, 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 when you're interacting with recruiters, when you're reaching out with recruiters, do some research. Go to their website, try to find the jobs that they're recruiting for on your own. Show that you've done a little bit of work. I feel like I have a lot of people in my DMs who want to build a relationship with me, but they're not actually trying to build a relationship. They are actually trying to get me to get them a job, and it comes out in normally like the second message because they don't want to build the relationship. So I guess I would say really make sure you actually want to build the relationship, and that you're willing to put forth the work and the effort, because it's not something that's just going to come quickly. And then, yes, you need to reach out to recruiters. You need to make sure you know what companies you want to work with. If you are passive, I'm assuming you are, I would go find recruiters who work in tech specifically. I would network with them. I would share their job posts. I would interact on their LinkedIn, whatever it is that's their thing, right? I'm into my content creation. Some are into other things, but find what the recruiter is about, figure it out, find a way, as Sam McKenna says, to show them you know them. Show me you know me is so important, and find something to connect. One of my hiring managers, he and I did not really connect over work. We connected over our children who are about the same age. We built relationships. So find ways to build relationships with those people and find things other than work to get connected behind. And then eventually it will just come naturally. I know some of you are like, I don't have the time for that, but realistically, building relationships takes time. And that's why I stress to people who are actively working to start building relationships now as well. Gretchen, it was always the first thing to get gutted in my old company's internal recruiting. Hiring managers had to do our own recruiting. Yes. So typically, internal recruiters, yes, I've seen this happen. I've had a number of internal recruiters reach out and who start looking. When the economy turns down, you see who's the first to go. And it's upsetting. It's really not something that should happen. Realistically, you should be having your recruiters work with your internal teams at that point to figure out how to retain your employee. There's so many other things that your internal recruiters could do for you, other than just recruit for new talent. But that's a conversation for another day, Gretchen. Kevin says same thing with RPO recruiters. That's what Annie and I do for GE Renewable Energy. Kevin is awesome, guys. Get it, Kevin. Melissa, love that analogy. Yep, the pop-up kitchen. It just makes sense. Get in, get out. Nobody has to know you're even part of the show. Hey, Kendi, good to see you. Recruiters are much more effective when you allow them to know you and your skills before the ask. That is 100% true, Melissa. If I don't know you at all, it is very hard to represent you. If I have no idea how you communicate, It's hard to represent you. I don't necessarily require anybody to screen with me on video unless I know my client requires a video interview. So think about things like that, make those connections, and really get people to understand what it is that makes you you and you unique, because you have to stand out in the hiring process. It's working for me. Melissa, connect and engage. Ask for what you need on your own profile. Your connections can jump in early if ready. Yes, for sure. Find recruiters in your field, 100%. Yes, the role can be super robust. Number 2 and number 3, if you know, you know. I like connecting with recruiters just as they are real people. Once the relationship is robust, you'll know when to ask. Exactly, Stephen. There's a number of people that literally I've had in my network for months on end that I pop in and say, drink your water, have a great day. Or I get my pom poms and I'll do a little cheer, or I'll get my basketball and I'll shoot my shot for hiring managers. But build relationships. It comes off salesy. Nobody likes to be sold to. People like to make that decision on their own. So build those relationships, and then they will think of you as that person when the time comes. Richie, I didn't do a pop-up tent. Where's the pop-up tent? Can I get invited? I want to do a pop-up tent. Okay. Having challenge finding restaurant, SaaS, food, wholesale recruiters. Can you offer any advice or assistance? Rob, if you would send me a DM of the top 5 companies that you are thinking of that you would like to work for and a copy of your resume, I will look into this for you. All right, Mark, there is no shame in having recruiters as your connections and friend on LinkedIn. Keep Corp HR sharp. That is so true. As you guys also see, I post all the time that if I am not recruiting for you, I am recruiting from you. I will specifically try to take away your team if you upset me. I know that's a horrible thing, but don't do it. But no, I will build relationships with entire sales teams, and I will be very straightforward with any recruiter who's wanting to do business development. If you are a full desk recruiter, entry level employees will give away the keys to the kingdom in a networking call. So I network with a lot of entry level employees as well, because they know what's going on internally and they give away a lot of details. Hillary says, writing down notes, you're all, thank you so much. Yes, straight to the point. There is no other way to be. Time is precious, and it is the one thing in life we don't get back. Oh, Melissa, do you need a cheer? I'll do a cheer for you. I'll send you a cheer video. Here we go. New challenge. Anybody who wants a personalized 30-second video, if you are on this live stream right now, comment below me or something, and I will send you a little personalized video over the weekend before Monday, just for you specifically. Richie, Lauren did a cheer video trying to recruit me, and I reverse Uno'd her. I don't think that's quite true, but I liked the reverse Uno. So great job, Richie. Castle is definitely the place to be. If anybody is looking for an agency recruiter role, we are hiring agency recruiters. You can reach out to me or Richie or Hallie or Curtis or anyone on the team. Of course, Rob, I'm happy to help. I do not have any C2C roles. I am sorry. I cannot help you. Dion, video coming. All right, let's get some videos going. Hey, Virginia, thank you for joining. I appreciate you showing up. I know we've only been 30 minutes, but I only had 3 topics to cover. Looks like people are still saying me. You guys are so cute. Does anybody else have any questions? I have some more time. Does anybody have any other questions? Or like Melissa told me earlier, I will be the hero and end the meeting early for everyone on this beautiful Friday. Send an updated golf video of your son. I want to be his agent. I will send an updated video. I think he's going to get a golf lesson this weekend. If you guys don't know my son, he is 5. And he loves to golf. He has his own little YouTube channel. I'm working this weekend on getting him another video posted. Axel Sermon. He will tell you to subscribe down below to his YouTube channel. But that is his dream, is to be a YouTube star. Judith, thank you for the helpful info. You are the first recruiter who has given reality to people trying to get into tech as a sales SDR. Thank you, of course. Happy to try to help anything I can, Judith. If you have a question, let me know. Happy to support. Virginia, if I can support you, please reach out. You're so amazing. Mark, 30 minutes, great. Yes, 30 minutes is perfect, especially alone. I think when I have a guest, we'll need the full hour. I think we should send Lauren a coffee for this awesome event. You're amazing. Thank you, Melissa. And Melissa, thank you for ordering one of my shirts. Tom and I just released new shirts today, guys. Everybody go check out our shirts, sassysaleshirts.com. Looks pretty. Thank you. Do a Curtis. Oh, no. Maybe one day we'll have Curtis on the show and Curtis can do an analogy. Richie, I don't think I have an analogy in me. Do you have one? Drop it. And I'll say it as long as it's not like, I don't know, keep your bacon greasy or something. Thank you, Lauren. You're the best. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Really, if I can help you. Yes, Gretchen, the shirts. We just literally dropped Tom Slocum shirt today. So go get a Tom Slocum shirt, Ron Slocum shirt, the SD Lab. Those are phenomenal. And shout out to the few of you who got the cold calling shirts. I know we had issues with production. They shipped late, but shout out for that. And if you guys need anything, reach out. There will be 3 new topics next week, and we will have a guest. How can we stand out now with all the new layoffs, especially in the Bay Area? Oh, Virginia, that one's a tough one, and we're going to wrap it for the day. So I will write this one down. This will be the first question we come back to next week. Melissa, I can't wait for you to get your shirt. You and I are going to have matching shirts. We'll have to do something. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Don't forget to do something for yourself. Drink your water. And remember that you will not get your time back. Don't burn out. Be there for your families. Bye.